Chapter 21. Oh! I bolted up in the bunk and stared out at Brianna's dark eyes. She let go of my shoulder. "Sarah," she whispered, "you were whimpering in your sleep." "Huh? What?" My voice quivered. My heart pounded. I realized I was drenched in sweat. "You're whimpering in your sleep," Brianna repeated, crying and moaning. "I thought I'd better wake you." Thanks," I choked out. "Must have been a bad dream, I guess." Brianna nodded and crept back to her bunk. I didn't move. I sat there trembling, staring out across the dark cabin. A bad dream? I don't think so. "You can skip the long-distance swim today if you want," Liz told me at breakfast the next morning. She leaned over my chair as I downed my cornflakes. I could smell the toothpaste on her breath. "Well," I hesitated. "How long is the swim?" "We're swimming halfway across the lake," Liz replied. "Halfway out, then back. I'll be in a boat at the halfway point. It isn't really that far, but you feel like skipping it today." I set down my spoon. I could see Megan Brown watching me from across the table. Beside me, Jan was struggling to choke down a half-toasted frozen waffle. "Come on, swim with us," Brianna urged. "I'll be your buddy," Jan said. "I'll swim with you, Sarah." Our frightening canoe adventure flashed into my mind. Once again, I pictured a horrible moment when Jan jumped from the canoe, tipping it over, leaving me there. But things were different now. We were friends. All four of us were friends now. I had to forget about what happened with the canoe. I had to forget about our bad start. "Okay," I agreed. "Thanks, Jan. I'll be your buddy." I turned back to Liz. "I'm ready to swim." The morning sun still floated low in the sky. It kept fading behind broad gray clouds, and each time the sun disappeared, the air became as cold as the water. The lake was so cold in the early morning. As I waded in, I suddenly realized why it was named Cold Lake. We all stepped carefully into the water, shivering and complaining. The water leapt over my ankles, stinging them. I stopped with a gasp and waited to get used to the cold. I raised my eyes at the sound of a motorboat and saw Liz chugging to her place in the middle of the lake. When she reached the spot, she cut the engine, and she picked up the electric megaphone. "Warm up first, everyone," she instructed us. We all laughed. "Warm up? How are we supposed to warm up? It's freezing." Two girls near the shore began splashing each other. "Stop it! Whoa! It's cold!" one of them shrieked. Taking a few steps over the soft lake bottom, I adjusted the top of my blue swimsuit. "We need wetsuits," I told Jan. She nodded, then waded out until the water lapped at her waist. "Come on, Sarah, stick together." She motioned for me to follow. I took a deep breath and plunged into the water. A shock of cold swept over my body, but I dove under the water and swam a few strokes. Then I raised my head and turned back to Jan. "Show off," she muttered. She dipped her hands in the water, still struggling to get used to the cold. I laughed. "It's refreshing," I exclaimed, brushing my wet hair back. "Come on, just push off. It isn't that bad." Jan lowered herself into the water. Most of the swimmers were in the water now, moving in circles, floating on their backs, treading water. "Line up, everyone," Liz instructed from her boat. Her voice through the megaphone echoed off the trees behind us. "Line up. 2 at a time. Let's go." It took a while for everyone to get in place. Jan and I were second in line. I watched the first 2 girls begin to swim. One of them moved with smooth, steady strokes. The other one splashed and thrashed. Everyone cheered them on. Jan and I gave them about a 2-minute head start. Then we began to swim. I tried to copy the first girl's rhythmic stroke. I didn't want to look like a klutz. I knew all the other swimmers were watching. But let's get real. I am not exactly headed for the Olympics. Jan pulled ahead easily. As we swam, she kept turning back to make sure I was keeping up with her. The turnaround spot was just past Liz's motorboat. I kept my eyes on it as I followed Jan through the water. It seemed very far away. Jan picked up speed. My arm started aching about halfway to the boat. "I'm in bad shape," I told myself. "I've really got to start working out or something." Liz's boat bobbed gently up ahead of us. Liz was shouting something into the megaphone, but the splash of the water kept me from making out the words. Up ahead of me, Jan picked the pace. "Hey, slow down," I called, but there was no way she could hear me. Ignoring the aching in my arms, I struggled to catch up with her. I kicked my legs harder, splashing up water behind me. The sun dipped once again behind a high cloud. The sky darkened, and the water seemed to chill. Liz's boat rocked in the water just up ahead. I kept my eyes on Jan, watched her steady kicks, her hair bobbing on the lake surface like some kind of sea creature. When Jan turns back, I'll turn back, I decided. I swam a little faster. Let's turn, I played silently. Jan, we're here. We're even with Liz's motorboat. I'm ready to turn back now. But to my surprise, Jan kept stroking. Kept swimming straight ahead. Her head ducked under the water. Her arms moved easily, gracefully, pulling her farther ahead of me. Jan! My arms ached. My chest started to burn. Hey, Jan, can we turn now? She swam steadily ahead. With a burst of energy, I pulled myself forward. Jan, wait! I called. We're supposed to head back. She stopped stroking. Oh, God. Never mind. Did she hear me? Breathing hard, my chest burning, I swam to her. She turned to face me. Jan? I gasped. No, not Jan. It wasn't Jan. It was Della. Her blue eyes sparkled as a gleeful smile spread over her pale, pale face. Keep swimming, Sarah, she whispered. We're going to swim farther and farther. You're my buddy now. 22. Next time, folks.